Exploring careers in music. Typesetter or engraver. This is my friend Gail Gillispie, and she works as a music typesetter. So, if you could tell us, please, Gail, what is that job?
Well, if you've ever gotten a piece of published music, either in a book or in sheet music that you sang in a choir or a community ensemble of some kind, or if you've seen lead sheets and music published by pop musicians, somebody engraved that. Used to be people would do this by hand, or they would literally engrave it on a plate for printing. That's why it's still called engraving, even though we all do it by computer nowadays. But of course, then you're at the mercy of whose ever handwriting it is. And some people had beautiful manuscript hands. It's like you wouldn't even want to see that done on a computer. But on the other hand, some people like me have really lousy manuscript hands. So if I wanted people to be able to read the music that I wanted them to be able to read, then I had to learn how to do this on the computer.
Well, and we have learned how to draw treble clefs back
Uh-huh.
in third grade, so we all know that writing music
Yeah.
by hand can be hard. How did you come to choose to do this work or get this job?
Um, well, actually, this is more like how did I start doing the work? And the answer is that I used to run a small vocal ensemble that specialized in Renaissance music. Now, there was an incredible amount of music published during the 16th century that isn't necessarily readable by most people today. The clefs are different for one thing. The words aren't always right under the notes where they should be. So when I found music that was in a state, either in a facsimile edition of a 16th century manuscript or a print, or music that was in a very old-fashioned edition where they used the original clefs, I got hold of it. I got some advice as to which music program I should get. I got Finale and started working with it.
You are doing the same work. That is one of the jobs that my husband does. He's also a
Yes.
typesetter. And you've already kind of hinted at one of the things that answers this next question, but could you talk a little bit about what you find really interesting or rewarding about being a typesetter?
Well, in some cases, I'm bringing music to people that they have never seen before. Sometimes I'm working with arrangements of old hymns that everybody knows and loves, and sometimes I'm working with brand new music. And that's really exciting, to be able to get down in print exactly what the composer wants. Anybody who uses Finale will tell you that the learning curve is very steep. But once you spend enough time with it, I don't know that it ever becomes completely intuitive, but you start getting a feel for how to make it work the way you want it to. And sometimes you have to do an end run around it. And I find that actually very satisfying when I can get Finale to do something it doesn't really want to do. In my own work, I can use Finale, for example, to make tablature for lute. Since I play the lute, and I sometimes have to edit music from manuscripts, it's very handy to be able to make this work on the computer. And then, of course, it's easier to share with people, too.
Are there other things about this work that you find especially challenging or difficult?
Usually, it's not so much the music, it's the program. Sometimes you have to do some considerable finagling to get the program to do exactly what you want.
So if you're a problem solver and you enjoy puzzles and you like music, this would be a good kind of job for you.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about what you did to learn how to do this job, or what if somebody wants to be a typesetter, what's a good path for them to take?
I believe there are tutorials. I think there are maybe even instruction books. Um, they also have a help portion in the program.
But this is not something that you especially need to go to school to do.
Well, you really kind of have to know your music theory, at least to a certain extent, especially if for example, if you need to add guitar chords to a piece, that's really, really helpful to be able to do harmonic analysis.
And it sounds too like making music was another thing that helped you get ready to
Oh, yeah,
be able to do
because then
stuff.
you know what you're looking for as a performer, what makes it easy for you. What you're doing is you're helping people perform the music without getting notational things in the way.
Right. Well, thank you very much for talking about what it means to be a music typesetter. I'm
You're
hoping
welcome.
that this is something that some of our students will consider doing.
Oh, and I should say that there weren't very many tutorials available when I started this, so I basically just kind of got thrown in the deep end, and I learned by making every possible mistake.
And I'm guessing
Sometimes
now,
2 and 3 times.
now
And
you probably go on YouTube and find tutorials.
yes, you probably can. But for me, just doing it was the best way to learn it.
Well, thank you very much.